Hello, you're listening to the Multiplayer Gaming Podcast. This is our midweek episode called This Week in Gaming. We're going to be talking about our last week in gaming, what we've been playing, news we've heard, and other random fun topics that come up along the way. I'm your host, Todd, and today's show is going to touch on a few things. Paul has a surprise for us. We're going to be looking into Halo Infinite and Squadrons.
Yes!
But before we jump into this past week, let me introduce Big Dog Paul.
Oh, Big Dog. Dish it to the dog. Dish it to the dog. I'm open.
And Gold Leader standing by, Josh.
Gold Leader checking in.
Okay, guys. This week was the week of gaming news, especially Xbox and Xbox Game Pass. But before we get to that, Josh, you have something about Patreon?
Gold Leader reporting in with a special announcement. We have Patreon! Now, this is awesome, man. We are super hyped about this. We have been looking for ways that we can just kind of build this community and interact with you guys. And we've actually played a few games with you guys, some of the listeners out there, and it has gone swimmingly. And we want more of that. So we figured we would set up a Patreon. What you can do is you can support the show, and we are going to give back. I mean, so much give back. Access to our private Discord, live streaming, play games with us. We might just yank somebody out of Discord and say, hey, come play this game with us. And then they're going to be like, oh, that sounds amazing.
Halo. It's going to be Halo. It's going to be me saying, please, someone play Halo with me.
You might find some people that are willing to do that, Todd. Even then.
I'm hoping.
You know, but we're also going to be providing things like t-shirts to some people, depending on the tier that they want to support in. I mean, just a ton of benefits, but we are super excited about it. We are really looking forward to just building this community, being able to interact with you guys. You will have a direct line to Todd. We are going to give his cell phone number to people.
Yeah.
Surprise, Todd. But okay, maybe not. But
is there a URL where they can find this, Josh?
Well, you know, Paul, there is, and it is a cool one. You can go to multiplayersquad.com and check out.
Wait, I thought websites started with a www.
Oh, come on. Everybody knows that. Okay. All right. You know what? Let's cover all our bases. You can go to www.multiplayersquad.com to join the multiplayer squad and check out everything that there is to check out there.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. All right, Paul.
Yes.
This is a new game to us, an old game to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's been around
for years.
For longer than some of our listeners, maybe?
Maybe some of our youngest listeners, sure.
Yeah.
All right, you want me to...
What? Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so first of all, Todd introduced me as Big Dog, and this is a joke that I guarantee not a single one of our listeners got, because this is a very little known game called 3-on-3 Freestyle. And I remember finding this free-to-play basketball game, 3v3, years and years ago. It had a very small, dedicated core, and I probably played a good 400 hours minimum of this game with a few of our other friends. And on a total lark, I hopped into Steam and just searched 3-on-3. And sure enough, there's a brand new edition of it that just released 11 days ago. So I had to post it in our Discord, and a few of us downloaded it, including Todd. And Todd, since this was your first time playing, what's your impression of this 3-on-3 basketball game?
It is a Reebok version of NBA Street.
It's like a very poor man's version of NBA Street.
It's a free-to-play version. If you like NBA Street, but you no longer own it, and you want to play it maybe once or twice, this is that game for you.
See, I really love it. It's very hard to describe unless you play it because the graphics are terrible, the physics are terrible. There's no communication, there's no voice chat in game. Okay, but it has a very weird pull in that I can't stop playing freestyle. And even my friend Andrew, he and I played a bunch of games today. I played by myself this morning. He even texted me just about 30 minutes ago and said, hey, let's go dominate in freestyle. I said, sorry, I got to go record a podcast, but I just love playing it. I don't know what it is. The players themselves do not have a whole lot of skill. They regularly miss layups, wide open threes, but I just find it to be a lot of fun. If you hop in with your friends, you can just goof around and make jokes and just play. I don't know what it is. It's like an old school arcade basketball game. It's more similar to like NBA Jam in a weird way, even though the players are not talented. It's like NBA Jam with like dads who haven't touched a basketball in 3 years. That's kind of what it's like.
And my favorite part of it was like you could mix around the roster. So you could have 2 centers and then like a shooting guard.
Mm-hmm.
And so like just people rebounding, passing it to the person on the edge, they take a 3. And we won games like that, not because we were hitting every 3, but because we had so much weight as centers, and it was hilarious.
Now, is this a co-op game? Are you guys on the same team, or is it competitive where you're playing against each other?
It's 3-on-3, so you can do like 1v1, 2v2, you can do 3v1, like whatever combination, and then just fill with AI.
Or with other
random players.
But I'm saying the 3 of us could be on a team taking on...
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. That's where the fun... Yeah, that's where the fun comes into play. But yeah, we definitely won games just dominating the boards. I mean, that's how Andrew and I played freestyle back in the day. We would just play 2 7-foot-tall female centers, grab every single rebound, and just throw it back and just let the shooting guard rain them down. And it's free to play. Why not? Although Todd did try to besmirch the name of the game because he looked up on Steam charts and said, guys, there's only been a maximum player count of 4 people on in the last month.
And we had 4 people playing at the time.
So for a brief minute, I thought that no one played this game, but that was actually the old edition that got replaced. And there were a whole 197 on at the time. So This game's booming.
Yeah.
And they are not a sponsor, but I am more than happy to plug it because I need more people to come play with me.
Yeah, and I mean, it only has 15-minute queue times. So,
that is not true. That's not true. It's a bug. It says 15-minute queue times, and it's always about 40 seconds. So, yeah, don't let that scare you.
All right, and then Paul, you've been playing a different game that you haven't really told us about, but I'm seeing it in the show notes. Death Stranding.
Yeah, I saw Paul playing this the other day, and I was like, wait a minute, when did Paul get that game? And then I was really curious, and I haven't had a chance to pick your brain about this. So, like, what are your initial impressions?
All right, so here's the thing. I like having a good single-player game that I can go through, and I know I've talked about how I own The Last of Us 2, but I've not been able to start it. But that's because my TV is in the living room, and I can't really play it in front of my young kids. It's just a little too violent. And so I got to stick to the PC because it's in the corner and my kids can't see the screen. And so I picked up Death Stranding, and I'm aware of all the memes and the jokes and it being a walking simulator. I have not played a whole lot yet. I've put in about 2.5 hours, which means I think I'm almost done with the opening credits. They are still rolling with where I am at. But did either of you guys play this at all on PS4? Okay, so I'm the first one.
That's why I'm curious, because I was hyped when this game was coming out, and I remember thinking like Hideo Kojima, like, oh man, dude, this is going to be great. And then the reviews started rolling in, and people were like, this game is an Amazon delivery guy. It's a walking simulator. It's a package delivery game. Like, and people started trashing it, and I lost all interest, like, after seeing all the reviews and everything.
Yeah, I don't understand the hate that people have for it. I did try to avoid everything I could on this game, so I really did not know anything about it. And I just hopped in, and sure, the game starts out where the first hour you control your guy for maybe 7 minutes. It's a whole lot of cutscenes, but there's tons of mysteries that they just start throwing in. Players have abilities called dooms, and there's different levels, and there's invisible monsters, and if the rain touches your skin, it fast forwards time and wrinkles it. And I find it all to be super fascinating. I can't wait to learn more about this game. So maybe I just heard so much hate that I lowered all of my expectations, and I actually think it's very cool so far. So I can't wait to dive more into it. But literally, I'm not joking when I say 2 hours into the game and it was still rolling the final credits. It's just, Kojima games are like this. If you ever played Metal Gear Solid 2 or Metal Gear Solid 3, if you thought those games were slow to get going, this one has lots of cutscenes. So you definitely have to buy in to a long-term story. Can you skip the cutscenes? I don't, because that's what I always do. I just skip past them. Yeah, if you skip the cutscenes, it's no longer a game.
Yeah, in this game, you don't want to do that. Well, Paul, I want to check back in with you in another week or two when you've done your 30th package delivery, and then see how you feel at that point. Because if you still like it, I legitimately may actually pick up this game. Yeah, even though so far all I've done is pick up some packages and deliver them, they still give you more new information that makes you want to learn more. So there are these figures that appear in the sky. I don't know who they are or what they do. People who die, black stuff starts coming out of their chest, and then they explode and it leaves a crater. And so this is all stuff that you see and experience, but I don't know why. So they kind of just drop you right in the middle. And I think I'm just going to slowly learn more about the world and what happened and why this is the case. So I will definitely be playing more of this game. I can tell you that much. Until his 30th package delivery.
Yeah. And then it's like, why am I not getting paid for this, guys?
I've always wanted to be a FedEx driver. I'm living out my dreams.
All right, moving on. Guys, this is the whole reason we're having this episode. Halo Infinite.
All right, we can finally talk about Halo without trolling Todd.
Yes.
Yeah. Todd's just having a heyday
it's not 15 years old.
All right, so gameplay footage. The gameplay seemed awesome. It seemed smooth. I mean, it gave me exactly what I wanted from it. How did you guys feel about it? Because I know, you guys used to be Halo fans in the past, but you're not, fanboys.
I thought it looked really good. I like that it was on the ring. I like Halo to me is at its best when you're in an open world, mountains and valleys, and, the little alien guys, the Covenant, are running around, and there's stuff going on everywhere, and this gameplay to me had a lot of that. I think the gunplay looked really tight. Honestly, that was the one thing that jumped out to me, was that, I think they went through probably 5 or 6 different guns, and they all looked like legit. Fire rate was different, sound effects were different. That part stood out to me. The Warthog looked good. They did a ramp off of and it landed and kind of drifted a little bit. So, all in all, I thought it looked really good, but there was nothing that blew me away. Honestly, that's the biggest thing for me, was that I didn't see anything that made me go, this was worth, a 15-year wait, or I don't even remember when the last Halo came out, but
I don't think it's been that
long.
It's
been that long. I don't have it in front of me, but
that was 9 years or something.
Yeah, that was my general, I'm not, nothing
6
negative.
years.
6.
Nothing negative about it, but there was nothing mind-blowing to me other than, he had a grapple hook and a deployable shield, but that's not really new to first-person shooters anymore. You know what I mean? So it's...
Well, I think it's traditional Halo with a modern mechanics. And then the big thing they're bringing to this game is an open world. There hasn't... Well, I didn't play Halo 5. But there hasn't been like an open world Halo, which I think this is bringing that. Like, they built this engine from the ground up. Like, they've invested a ton of time and money into it. I think like they're gonna be putting stuff into this game for a while, and that's why they did this whole open world environment.
Yeah, I mean, it's Halo. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And so when I started watching the trailer, it did immediately bring back a lot of nostalgia because it's the exact same HUD. You have the exact same mini-map. You have the very similar intro music on the menu. And when you pop in, it looks beautiful. It sounds great. I'm really looking forward to playing it. If all it is old school Halo made modern with a couple of tweaks like being open world and whatnot, I'm all for it. I think it looks like a blast to play. And I know that some people shared some shade about how they felt about it, but I love old school Halo. And if it looks new and plays great, I'm all in.
Something I'm pretty excited for is 343 came out and said they're going to be doing a ray tracing update soon after launch.
Todd loves his ray traces.
I love my ray tracing. I bought a 2080 and I don't think I play a single game with ray tracing on it yet.
Todd, but what's funny though is Todd legitimately brings up ray tracing at least once a week. And it'll be totally at random, where he'll say, oh, well, do you guys have your ray tracing turned on like I do? And it'll just be totally out of nowhere.
The funny part is, I don't think Todd has ever actually seen his ray tracing. He keeps waiting for it.
I've seen ray tracing footage. I don't know if I've played a game and turned it on, because
that's what I mean.
I own Tomb Raider, but I've never launched it just because it was like you could get it for free. Maybe I need to download Tomb Raider so I can actually see ray tracing.
No, just wait for Halo Infinite, Todd.
That's fair. Yeah. I'll do that. I mean, that's the more likely situation that's going to happen.
I think, I'm excited. I will definitely play this game. Like, as much as I troll the older Halos, like, I'm playing Halo Infinite. Like, that's a given. I'm not wowed yet. I'm cautiously optimistic, but the gameplay did not wow me.
What does the game need to do to get a wow?
Honestly, they need to show more of the open world style, because in the gameplay they showed some, but if this is a true open world and it's a large, like, how big is the map? If it's open world, like, how big is the map? Can I go to one side of the ring, and then go around to the other side? Like, I don't know. So to me, how they implement the open world, maybe some of the like quest structure or mission structure, some of that stuff. And then like they need to show off something really cool. Like, show me a set piece or something. And I know Halos have those, but give me a glimpse of that. Give me a glimpse of the glory days of driving my Warthog through like an exploding spaceship or something.
Right. And they're going to have those epic like Warthog missions. I'd be surprised if they didn't. The thing for me that I really want to see is a really good PvEVP game mode. Halo has great PvE and it has great PvP. Like, I want to see a good combination of the two.
That would get me in. Yeah, that would get me really interested real quick in the multiplayer aspect.
Because they're not gonna be a better battle royale than anyone else. The classic deathmatch, like 4v4, they've done it over and over and over. I would love to see a fresh, like multiplayer game mode, and I think they can bring that with this.
Yeah, and we've seen that in other games, like in Destiny 2. And I know I already made fun of this in the Destiny episode, but what's the one mode? Was it Gambit? Where the two teams face each other while you're fighting the PvE monsters. I would love to see them incorporate something like that. I hope more and more games put that in, because while it is fun to play deathmatch and team deathmatch, and Halo, I'm sure, is going to have all the vehicles and stuff with like big team battle or whatever that's called. But yeah, making something new that incorporates both elements, I think is a great new movement. I love the fact that games are including that more and more. And I would love to see more AAA titles incorporate it the same way we saw in Destiny 2.
Yeah. And then moving on, Josh, I know you wanted to talk about this.
I'm drooling, man. I'm so hyped about this game. October can't get here soon enough. No, don't.
No, I'm just kidding.
Don't you do that to me, Todd.
No, Squadrons.
Yeah, Squadrons.
Is it just Squadrons or Star Wars Squadrons?
Star Wars Squadrons, yeah.
Okay.
So they did... There was some more gameplay footage that came out. I guess they got some hands-on with it, and people were allowed to talk about that and post some video from it. But, I mean, I've made no secret that I'm a huge fan of the old X-Wing versus TIE Fighter series. And there's not been a really good combat space sim, and I can't remember how long. Like, there's been a few, but none of them have really stood out to me. But from this additional footage that came out and some of the hands-on preview stuff, Squadrons looks like it is going to be the game that I've been waiting like 20 plus years for. Like the feedback so far is that this is the game you've been waiting for. It is 5v5 multiplayer, so that sounds perfect to me. Like that fits within our group so well to have like 5 people flying around in X-Wings or TIE Fighters, like taking on another team. Like there's set pieces to it. So even in like the fleet battles, it's the 5v5, but then you're fighting like a Star Destroyer while you're fighting the other team. It just looks incredible to me. If they can nail the movement, like the mechanics of the game, I honestly think this will be like the next Rocket League for me.
Well, do you think they can beat Star Fox 64? Because that's the only thing I have to like compare it to.
Oh, you missed out, man.
That's the only like dogfighting game you've ever played, Todd? You didn't play like old school
Flight Simulator 2002? Like,
yeah.
No.
See, I loved all the old school dogfighting games. I don't know what happened to this genre. I don't know why it fell off the face of a cliff. I mean, flight simulators were hugely popular. You had Star Fox. You had, like Josh mentioned, X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. I remember playing like Chuck Yeager brand games, and I can't wait to play it. Josh, are you going to dust off your old joystick that we talked about that had the little compartment for your torpedo launch where you had to lift it up?
This is how nerdy I am. Legitimately, about 4 days ago, I started surfing around on Amazon looking for flight sticks, and with
getting
like
pedals
the
and
throttle, I want the throttle. I do. I want the separate throttle
goodness.
so I can just like turbo boost, on the one hand, and then I legitimately those things get expensive.
Dream.
By the way,
Yeah.
no
Are
idea
they?
how pricey some of those were, but I'm trying to keep my hype level down, but after seeing this latest round of footage and hearing what people thought about it, I'm really getting excited, man, because I think this could be like the next big multiplayer game, like for our group, at least,
Well, and it's going to be interesting. Like apparently in multiplayer right now, they have 2 different game modes. One is dogfight, which is just what you said, 5v5. Destroy the other ships. And then the other is a full-fledged fleet battle where both of you guys have, the large, I don't
Star
know,
Destroyers and cruisers and stuff. And
and then you have to take those out, but protect your own ships. And it's like apparently a lot more complicated, but it seems like that could be complicated enough to keep this interesting for a long time. Because I don't think I could play just a dogfight game for more than a week or 2 weeks.
I think if you had I think if you had a squad, 5 people playing it that knew their roles, because there's different classes of ships. Like there's bombers, there's A-wings, there's X-wings, there's your Y-wings. So there's all these different roles. So if they can nail the class system, so to speak, in regards to the different ships and how they influence a match, I think you have.
But that's where the fleet battles come in hand, because you're never going to pull a bomber into a dogfight. like if you're going to have a bomber, it's to take out a large ship. It's not to like dogfight other ships. So I think that's where like you get the whole experience rather than just like the DPS role of like, let's run around and try and take each other out.
Yeah. I could just, in my brain, I envision this with like really good team communications, like strats. Like Paul's like, dude, I got somebody on my 6, and it's like flying in, and I'm like, I got him, Paul, don't worry. And then like, I can't blow that guy up. And then, like to me, that's what like I envision this being. And then, like strafing the Star Destroyer while we protect Todd and the bomber who's coming by with the bombs to blow up the shield generators. And like, I don't know if it'll actually work out that way. But in my perfect, super excited brain right now, that's what I'm envisioning.
You're literally at the second gold leader standing by. Like you're just waiting.
That was a really long con there, Todd. You opened the show with that and then just put the bow on it.
Just saved it. All right, guys. Well, I think we're all super excited for this game. And then I think we're about at time. Do you guys have anything else for the last couple minutes?
Have I told you guys about Squadrons yet?
Oh my goodness.
Oh no.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
But why male models?
All right, guys. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. Josh said at the top of the show, we have a new Patreon, and we would love for you guys to at least check out the page. If you feel obligated to join us on Patreon and get access to our Discord server, absolutely sign up. You can do that at multiplayersquad.com. We also have a Twitter that we're pretty active on, and we like to make witty jokes, and we post a lot of content, including when we're live on Twitch and just goofing around with some of our fans. And you can find our Twitch at Multiplayer Pod. Oh, not Twitch. No, I guess it is Twitch. Twitch both, right? And Twitter. Yeah, Twitch and Twitter is Multiplayer Pod.
What a happy coincidence.
Either. I was always right. But yeah, that's our show for this week. So see you guys Monday.
Yeah, we'll see you Monday talking about the forest. So that'll be an interesting episode. Looking forward to it.
Yep. See you guys.
Before we jump into past week, oh my goodness. Let me do it one more time.
This is what I did to Josh every time we recorded when you were out, Todd. I just remember one time I was like, hell no. Nope, that is not going to work. I was like, all right, restart.
I didn't even make it 2 words in.
I was literally halfway in the first word. I was like, nope.